Have you ever had the thought that I should have a morning routine? All these successful people have a morning routine. Therefore, because I want to be successful, I should have a morning routine. That was me about 10 to 15 years ago. And let me tell you, I failed miserably. And I'm going to share with you all about it. My name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, Quiet Confident Woman. My passion is building confidence in women, especially introverted women, and supporting you in building a life and a business around what brings you joy. If you do not already get emails, why not? Make sure to click the link below and get those emails. And if you love what you hear, make sure to subscribe. All right, so let me tell you my story of failure. Many years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, all of these people have an amazing, powerful morning routine, and I want to be amazing and powerful and have what they have. And so I'm going to have a morning routine. So as I'm researching all of this, I'm like, okay, so what should be in a morning routine? And I found things like exercise and a nutritious breakfast and reading your Bible or diving into a book, like a self-help or a business, some kind of a book to move you forward. All of these things, and of course, getting ready for the day, that was another one. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And I'm thinking, if I only even do 15 minutes of all of these different things on my list, it's gonna take me an hour and a half to 2 hours. I'm like, okay, I'm okay. I'm devoted. I'm gonna do it, but I'm not a morning person, but we're gonna do it anyways. Because I really wanted to give this a try. So I believe I typically got up about 6 o'clock at that time. So let me bring you back there with me. I worked a full-time job. I had a part-time entrepreneurial job. I had a son that was like between 2 and 5 at that time. And then my husband had a full-time job, which took him away for 24 hours at a time. And he also is an entrepreneur and had a part-time job as well. So, and again, reminder, not a morning person, but I was getting up at 6 o'clock to get to work, just getting ready and leaving at this point in time. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll get up at like 4:30 and we'll go ahead and do these things. Okay. It lasted seriously for like a day. If I'm being generous, maybe 3. I was exhausted after the first day. I did not go to bed any earlier because there's things to do. Like, how am I going to get to bed earlier than what I typically did? I really need sleep to function. Otherwise, it's just not happening. So not only was I creating this morning routine, but I was also eliminating sleep, which in my world is not very ideal. And I would have to argue in most people's worlds, it is not ideal. Okay, so I did not get very far in my routine, but I did learn a couple of things to create a good routine, whether it's morning or a different time during the day. I did learn a couple of things, and I'm going to share those with you. First of all, I learned structure was good. Structure was good. So even though I only did it for like a day, maybe 3, I learned that okay, I had it in place. Like I was going to get up and I was going to read and then I was going to work out and then I was going to eat and then I was going to I had like the different check marks of what I was going to do so I could just run through the structure without really even thinking about it. So during the times that we want a routine, like maybe the morning, it's really great to have some kind of a structure to take the guesswork out of it. And it's just going through the motions at that point in time. The second thing I learned was to create a routine that fit my and my family's lifestyle. So as a busy mom that worked outside of the home and had to be there at structured hours, it wasn't really feasible for me to take an hour and a half in the morning at a time that I'm not really my best self to begin with anyways, because I'm not a morning person, to dive into all of these things. So I needed to think about, okay, what things do I really want to keep within this routine? And what things do I want to let go of? And things like exercise, if it really wakes you up in the morning and it sets your whole day up for success, put it in your morning routine. For me, it really doesn't. It might motivate me a little bit, but quite honestly, if I do it when I get back from bringing my son to school or fit it in a little bit later in the day, I will reap just as much benefit as if I do it right away. So think of the different things that you want to keep in whatever routine you're creating. In this case, we're talking morning routine. So what do you want to keep in that morning routine? And so for me and my family at this point in time, it's typically my son and I who are up at the same time. My husband is normally gone for work by the time we get up, or if he's not working, he's still sleeping. So it's my son and I that have like kind of our little morning routine going on school days. Now, days off, whole different ball of wax. But on school days, we have certain times that we get up. We really, the only things that we do before we leave to get him to school is to eat breakfast, a healthy breakfast, and then get dressed for the day. And getting dressed for the day for us is making sure that we've either showered or whatever we need to do. If we shower the night before, that's great, but fix our hair, and then at minimum, wash our face. So those are the things that are non-negotiables for us. My son definitely has to eat before he leaves for school. And the other thing he has to do is he has to grab a lunch, whether he packed it the night before or he's grabbing it that day. He needs to have a lunch to bring with him. So that is a little bit about what our routine looks like during the day. So figure out what works great for you. If you love getting up 15 minutes before everybody else is up to dive into the Bible or into a book or to get a 15-minute workout in, do that. Absolutely do that. And if it's something that's new to you, make sure that you adjust the evening end as well. So if you typically go to bed, I don't know, at 10 o'clock, and now you're going to get up an hour earlier because you want to do a couple things in the morning for your routine, make sure to go to bed at 9 o'clock. Otherwise, it's going to throw everything off. Not only are you adjusting one new thing, you are adjusting two new things. And a lot of times it's a little bit too much. So just tweak one thing at a time, and then you can always add to that. Okay, the third thing is having flexibility within that routine. So say that you're going to have a healthy breakfast, but you hadn't done that. So that's something totally different for you to add in your morning routine. You're like, yeah, we definitely, I want to add that in. So you're doing a healthy breakfast. And I typically, for us, we keep it the same to keep it simple. And both my son and I are fine with that. So I have oatmeal in the morning, some warm oatmeal, and then my son has some eggs. And I have like a certain time in the morning that it gets made, just because I know that if I don't start it by then, we won't be eating before we leave. So you'll kind of fall into a rhythm of when everything happens. And then once it's in place, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I love having a breakfast in the morning, but like I just am not, like, I find that I'm running out of time. It is just not working. It's just not working. And so then go back to the drawing board and think to yourself, okay, what within it do you like about having breakfast in the morning? When you say, I really like having breakfast in the morning, what do you like about it? And maybe it's that it's something healthy. You tend not to snack as much before lunchtime, so you're not eating as many calories. Maybe it fuels your brain. Maybe you can think better right away in the morning. Whatever it is, find out the things that you like about it. And then find out the things that you don't like about having it in the morning. And you're like, okay, I don't like it because it takes up way too much time. I'm finding myself pouring 15 minutes into making this breakfast and I don't want to get up earlier. It's been a challenge and I'm not willing to get up earlier. So that's the thing. If you're thinking, okay, well, I do like all things about it, I'm just not getting up on time. And if you're willing to get up 15 minutes earlier, then do that. If you're like, I'm really not, it's like not worth it for the 15 minutes, then what can we do different? Can you have oats that you make the night before and do like the cold oats that you pull out of the fridge? The overnight oats, I think that's what they're called, right? Overnight oats. And then, or can you maybe make an egg bake and have just a piece that you warm up in the microwave in the morning for eggs? So think of different ways that you can keep what you have structured, but maybe adjust it a little bit to work with what you have right now and tweak it even more to fit your life a little bit better. I know that in the morning, several years ago, I would always take a shower in the morning because my hair needed to be wet to fix it. If it's like all over the place, it really has to be doused and I have to start over in order for it to look decent. And so I'm like, well, I'll take a shower in the morning. And I love taking a shower in the morning, like getting up and being in the warm water. It just felt so great. But I found that it was taking me forever to get ready in the morning because I was in the shower and it felt so good. And I'm like, oh, this is just so great. I want to just like stay in here forever. And I'm like, okay, like I don't need to shower in the morning. I can certainly shower at night, but then we're back to my hair's going to be all crazy. And like, what am I going to do about that? So what I now do to save myself time in the morning, instead of showering in the morning and then not wanting to get out of the shower because it's nice and warm in there and I'm still tired, is I just stick my head under the faucet in the bathtub and get my hair wet and then start from there. And it's something that it still serves the purpose that I needed it to serve, with still cutting time in a way that I didn't really miss or didn't really need. So think of just different things that you can adjust. And if you need support in that, I love supporting people and just finding systems that work for them, finding ways to bring joy into your life without it feeling so heavy and abundant, and just to have something that you are able to move through seamlessly. I love doing that. So reach out if I can support you with that. Okay, let's recap. First of all, structure is good. It allows us to kind of get into a motion of just maybe autopilot, if you will, where you don't really have to think about it. And then create routines that make sense for you and your family. Does it make sense to have a healthy breakfast in the morning, or do you not really like breakfast and you can really truly last until noon? Or does it make sense for you to do a workout in the morning because otherwise you are super crabby and this really is you time and it sets you up for the day appropriately? So figure out what you need in a routine in order to be supportive for you and your family. And then the third part is flexibility. Once you have that in place, know that it is not a forever thing. You can adjust, you can tweak, and it may be great for a couple of months and then you're like, wait, this isn't working. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's adjust a little bit and move forward. Or maybe it works great this year, but next year's a whole new ball of wax. Maybe you have kids at different schools next year, so you're going a couple different places and you just need to adjust some things that you were doing this year. Then you can take what you have and you can just add those small tweaks. I would love to know different things that you have in place for a morning routine that really works well for you. Some things that are maybe non-negotiables. For us, it's breakfast and just getting ready for the day, washing your face, getting some decent clothes on. And for me, it's applying makeup, and then Karsten is grabbing his lunch. So let me know what works for you and what really sets your day up to be successful, or maybe some areas that you need a little bit more support, that you're thinking, okay, I have a good start, but it needs some tweaking. I would love to support you. All right, my friend, I will see you next time.